Right, we're rolling with episode 7, our first in-person episode, which we are excited to be together to record today. This is a new experience, maybe some technical difficulties, but I think we've got it figured out, and we'll see how it turns out at the end.
Hopefully it's all right. Hopefully this audio isn't absolutely trash. So we'll find out.
We have to be very cautious about bumping this table.
I saw
It
that.
is like just,
I have my foot on it. Never again. Never. We're on.
so very careful on our table bumps. But so we've got a round to go over today. Based off of our preliminary discussions, it does not sound like it was a very good round for me, and it sounds like it should be secured for you. But I'm excited to see what happens and where it takes us. But we can get into it. You can take it away on the course and selection that you made.
So we were going to do, I forget the course I said.
It was Bandon Dunes.
Yes. We were going to do another one, but then I
the
got
other
to
one.
the simulator and I realized that my simulator didn't have it, even though it said it did, but didn't have it. So I had to make an audible and switch to a course I knew that we had, and I just did Bandon Dunes in the back 9. Brent had an unfortunate course of events that happened with this course selection.
Yeah,
and it being the back 9.
So he selected Bandon Dunes. I think that we were playing the front 9 on the first course that he selected, and so I was trying to squeeze around in quick. I hit a few balls on the range. I didn't have a lot of time when I was trying to get this round in. And so I clicked Bandon Dunes, hit the red tees because I knew that's what he selected. Start the round, boom, here we go. Hole 1, grab the driver down the middle of the fairway. I had like a 45-foot chip shot. I chipped it 4 inches outside of gimme, and I actually hit the 15-foot putt for birdie. And I was rolling the second hole on Bandon Dunes as a par 3. I hit a beautiful iron to the center of the green, 2-putt par. And then I looked up at the hole number and saw that I was playing hole 3, and I was like, wait, I think in John's text he said we're supposed to be playing the back 9 at Bandon Dunes. So I grabbed my phone, I looked at the text that you sent me, and I indeed was playing the front 9 when I should have been playing the back 9. So I was 1 under through 2 holes and had to scrap that round and load up the back 9, and it was downhill from there. So
that's not great.
So we'll get into it. Hole 10, which is the first hole we played, was a par 4, playing 269 yards. And you want to go first since this was your course selection? You can give me the rundown.
I had a good drive. Second shot was good near the green. Good putt, in for par.
I had a good drive, an okay wedge. It was outside of gimme, 2-putt par.
Nice.
So we push hole 1.
Nice.
Hole 2 was a par 4 as well, 281 yards on this one.
Nice. Okay, I had a good drive. Yeah, the nice thing was my driver started off really good, and I think it stayed pretty. It stayed pretty good for most of it until near the end, which was nice, honestly. So, good drive, bad second shot, good recovery, good recovery shot, bad putt, but in for bogey. The putt, I think it was just outside of gimme, and I should have made that putt. Like, it should have went in.
Yeah.
But bogey.
Well, it's okay because I had a good drive, I had an okay wedge, and then I had a bad chip, it was so annoying. I hit the chip pretty much exactly how I wanted it, but it just, I don't even know. Like, I feel like it was kind of a misread, but maybe it was just one of those things. Chipping on the simulator can be difficult. Anyways, it was on the green, and I 2-putted for bogey. So, push that too. So we're still even going into hole 3. Hole 3 was a par 3, and I had it at 125 yards that we were playing.
Par 3? Okay. For that, I had a good shot. It rolled off the front. It ripped back off the front.
Okay.
And then I chipped up there. It was okay, but not inside of gimme. I had to putt back and then bogey.
Gotcha. Okay, so for mine, I hit a P wedge, and my P wedge has been going. My P wedge is like the iron that I'm starting to get more consistently good with, but still, I I'm still not perfect with it. So I try to kind of pull it around the 120, 130, and that's where I thought this was. Well, this is, like I said, I'm starting to kind of dial in the P wedge. I hit it like 140. It was long of the green. Thankfully, long of the green was pretty safe and it was an easy chip. And I actually hit a really good chip shot into the gimme. I think it was only like a foot or two. Like I was low key hoping I'd chipped in. So I chipped in for par, or chipped into the gimme range, which was the gimme for par. So I ended up parring that one.
So you're one up.
So
correct?
I'm one up going into hole 4. But do not fear. Hole 4 is a par 5, measuring 443 yards on the scorecard. And I guess I will start it since
Yeah.
I technically have the tee box. Hole 4, driver into the rough. Bad 7-iron, bad 52, bad chip, 2-putt double. Now I want to say, I hit a good distance drive. It leaked to the right. I overdrew it, being a lefty, into the right rough. The right rough was and should have been easy. I was like, "This is a par 5. We're gonna play a 3-shot hole here." Instead of, I had like over 200 yards in. I said, "I'm just gonna grab a 7-iron because of it being the rough. I'm just gonna get it out into the fairway. I'm gonna hit a nice 7-iron." I pured the 7-iron. It was a great 7-iron strike. I don't know why the simulator and the way it does the calculations on that said I hit it 100 yards. So I still had like a whole 52 degree, where I was like, if I come up, 30 yards short of the green, which would have been
Yeah.
a good 7-iron shot, it would be easy to, just hit a good chip shot on, and I would still be able to get out with par. Well, when I hit the 7-iron, I felt like I pured it. It gave me a 100-yard shot. I was really unhappy with that, and so I was not in a good mental space after that 7-iron, and I just kind of made a mess of it after. So I doubled.
Okay. It's funny. I actually had a very similar experience because I hit a shot, it faded off to the right. But I pulled it. I was at about 200 some yards. I said, well, time for the hero shot. I pulled out the 5-iron, absolutely creamed it. Like it was so pure, but with it being in the rough, like, it still didn't, so it leaked off to the right. Um, but, I had a bad chip that wasn't within give me. It was nice. It landed. It was like probably like 30 yards to the right of the hole. Like
Okay.
not quite pin high, a little short. But I had a
Wow.
bad chip, but I was still on the green and then putted close in for bogey. So
Okay, so we're back to even after hole, what was that, hole 4 of the par 5?
yeah.
Yep. Okay, so going into the next is a par 4 at 268 yards on the scorecard, and the tee box is back to yours.
hmm this is I had started to hit my driver good, so I was feeling pretty confident with the driver. So I got that out there pretty much pin high, just a little bit left, and chipped up and to give me distance par.
Okay. So I'd been hitting the driver well all day, so I saw 268. I was like, if I really try to swing hard at this one, I think I could get to the green. And so that's what I did. I hit a tee shot. I swung really hard. I overdrew it a little bit, and this hole was rough all up the right side. The fairway was kind of to the left, and then the green was tucked behind kind of the rough that went up the right side, and there was a bunker on the right side of the fairway. And then it was OB like past the bunker. Thankfully, it was drawing. I started it right at the flag, which my flag was on the left side of the green. It overdrew, and I was like, just please hit the bunker. I was like, please hit the bunker. And it did. It landed in the bunker, so it was safe, just on the right side of the green.
Nice.
I hit the best bunker shot I've hit in the series that we've played so far, and it rolled into just barely into the gimme range, and I got birdie on the hole. That
Okay. You complaining about this round. I think you were
no,
sandbagging.
no, no, no. Back to 1 up after 5.
I mean, it doesn't really. Okay.
Okay. So going into hole 6, I guess I got the tee box again. Hole 6 was another par 3, 112 yards. So a little backstory on this shot. We live in an apartment complex, and the simulator's just in the clubhouse, and there's a kitchen right behind where the simulator is. I think you've seen the kind of the
Oh, yeah.
clubhouse. Well, people came in and they had their kid while we were like in the kitchen while they were doing some stuff. I think they were making coffee or something, and their kid like wandered over and was watching me. So the dad came over and he's like, "Okay, you want to watch him play a little golf and stuff?" And so like they're standing there. He's like holding this kid while I'm trying to like play this round on the simulator. So you know from that this just can't be a good shot. So I snap hooked the P wedge over way left of the green. I hit an okay wedge back on to the green, which I was just happy to be on the green. 2-putted, got out with bogey. Not great, but I will take a bogey with
What
people watching me play.
are you 1 up or are
I'm 1
you
up, yeah.
1 up? Okay. Me okay, for this hole is just a mediocre shot, mediocre chip, okay putt, bogey. That's what I
Okay,
have, just some mediocre shots.
so we pushed the par 3 with bogey. So we're back due to some logistics. We had to move rooms in the middle of the episode, so we
Spontaneous.
yeah, a little spontaneous switcheroo. But we are back and ready to continue with our scores. We'd finished up the par 3 hole 6, and after that I am still up 1 because we both pushed with bogey. So going into to hole 7, um, this hole for me was a really fun one. The fairway goes down kind of the left side from where the tee box is. The tee box is kind of here, and you're kind of, if you were shooting straight, you would be in the rough. And then on the right side, there was like this massive
Oh, yeah.
cliff, and like it's supposed to be like an ocean course, I think, is where Bandon
Mhm.
Dunes is. And so there's like water and everything. So the distance was short. It was only the par four was 230. So really, it was a really short par four. Driver had been working well for me all day. I was like, there's OB right. Let's just be careful and aim left side of the green. That's what I did. I aimed on the left side of the green. Like previously, my drive started beautifully and started to draw and draw, and I didn't have any bunker to save me this time, and it just kept drawing, and I was like, please don't go off the cliff. Off the cliff it goes, and it's a retee. So I was like, hey, that's okay. I was like, we can recover from this.
Mhm.
I said, we'll retee. Let's just hit it a little bit more left.
Mhm.
It'll draw, hit the green. I said, maybe we can putt in, bogey, and get out of here. Same exact drive. I hit it, and it just kept drawing and drawing and drawing, and it goes off the cliff out of bounds. I was like, at this point, I pretty much was certain that I had lost the hole, but I was like, I'm just gonna grab a four. I think he grabbed a 5 iron, maybe. I can't remember if it was a 4 iron or 5 iron. I grabbed a long iron. I was like, I'm just gonna hit it out here and just see if I can finish the hole. I snapped the iron shot into out of bounds too. So we had 3 tee shots that all went out of bounds. At this point, I was like 6 strokes and hadn't made it off the tee. I just conceded
Yeah.
the hole. So I don't even know what you got, but that was a easy concede for me.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened to me last week. Literally exactly, because I
Yeah,
had the same thing where I hit it. I was like, I'm gonna aim a little more right, little more
yeah.
right, little more, and then proceeded to absolutely hit it in the trash every single time.
It's so frustrating too.
Yeah.
It's like with the
Mhm.
water on Sweeten Cove last week. You just kept hitting it in the water, and it's like I don't know what it is. Once you hit that one out of bounds, it's just you've seen it once, and it's
Yep.
just bound to happen again.
Is this one I didn't honestly I had a great recovery chip because I hit a 5 iron,
Hmm.
hit it wonky, literally it like hardly went anywhere. Went maybe 100. I terrible
Yeah.
shot. And so I hit that, but then I was like, okay, I was about 70 yards out because it only went like 120 yards for a 5 iron. That's terrible.
Hmm.
So I was like, I had like 70 yards or 80 yards, and I was like, okay, if I hit this, I was gonna try a like a flop 70-yard shot. Bad idea. Went totally like past the hole to the left, behind the green, not even close to the green. It was a 70-yard shot. I should have been at least close to it, but I was close enough that I could chip, and I hit this like beautiful like runner that ran. I was on the back side of the green. The pin was all the way in the front.
Okay.
I hit this beautiful little runner that like just slid down and went like super close.
Oh,
It was so close to going in, but it got me to the gimme distance for par. So
wow.
the recovery chip was
So the
nice.
recovery chip for par is crazy. That's awesome. Well, I knew as soon as I hit the second tee shot that go in, I was like, I'm pretty much conceding this hole. But I was like, I'm just gonna play it out because I almost saw it kind of as like a little experience to kind of, stay warm and keep going
Hmm.
into the next holes. But after that concede, the mental shock was
Yeah.
was definitely there and prevalent. So we going into hole 8, which is another par four. This one was a longer par four for the course. It was 325
Hmm.
yards for us. My notes there was bad drive, bad P wedge, bad P wedge, good P wedge, bogey. So I conceded the hole before. I was running out of time because I'd started the wrong course. I was pretty certain at this point I'd lost because of the bogeys, and now I just had a full concede on a hole. I hit a bad drive. It was about a P wedge distance, and I topped the P wedge. And then, I mean, it still went a little bit distance, but then it was like, okay, now if I just hit a smooth P wedge, it should be the right distance.
Yeah.
I shanked that P wedge, and now it was 30 yards. And I was just like, you know what? I'm pretty sure I've already lost this. I just continued with the P wedge at like 30 yards. I was like, I'm just gonna hit this. And I actually chipped it into the guinea range from 30 yards with the P wedge
Hey,
and got away with bogey. And I was like, hey, you know what? We'll take it. Did not expect to chip in the gimme with the P wedge from 30 yards, but it worked out. So we were even going into this hole, and I got bogey.
fair enough. So I had a terrible drive. Uh, Short nine. It was in a terrible drive. I think I hit it pretty good, but it just didn't go that far. Or I hit it okay. It just wasn't like OB or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
9 iron. I hit a 9 iron. Bad chip. Good chip. Bogey. So
So we pushed.
yeah, we pushed.
So we're even
Comes down
going
to
into the last
final.
hole, and I honestly didn't even take any notes because it was a par 5 at 451 yards. I do remember that I did not hit a great drive, and then I think I think I had a decent iron shot. Trying to remember the hole. I think I had a decent iron shot, two bad chips, and then two putts for bogey. So I bogeyed the last par 5.
All right. I had a okay drive. Good 5 hybrid. Chunked wedge. Bad chip, but it was still par.
All right. So you closed the deal in the last hole. Came down to the last one.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That was way closer than I expected
Yeah.
this to ever go.
I oversold my round. For some reason, I only thought I shot 3 over. That is not right. I shot like 5 over or 6 over. I
Yeah.
don't know what you technically shot, but
Well, if you count the pickup, it just gives you 12 when you
oh
pick it
yeah,
when you do the pickup. So like after I hit the third one, the OOB, I just like on the simulator actually just went next hole because I was like, yeah, I don't even care. Like if he hits 3 OB, I've conceded it. I'm not going to play the round. So
yeah.
I just pretty much was ready to move to the next hole. I shot like 5.
So we both shot 5.
Well, I don't know minus the par 4, I shot 5 over. So
Okay.
with that par 4 that I kept hitting, the OB would have gotten me, much more than 5 over. But it was actually pretty close. But just, I guess the reason I like felt it was such a bad round was because the par 5s, I had a double and a bogey, which typically the par 5s are where you have a chance at birdie. So I
Oh
felt
yeah.
like I really had lost there because I was pretty certain you were gonna do well in the par 5s. And then that par 4 that I just hit a bunch of, I guess like in my head it just felt like it was a much worse round. But I don't actually think it was all that bad. I mean, it was competitive with what we had here. It came down to the last hole,
Oh yeah.
but you secured it. So that puts you up to, this was our first 2 point round. So that puts you up to 5 points, correct?
Sheesh.
And
Yeah.
I'm
I
at
think.
one single point here. So, there's hope. Not a
Mhm.
lot, but there's a little
Hey,
hope.
it's your choice for the round now, so you can make another decision like you did last time.
We'll have
Put
to
me in a
look.
hard time with the greens.
I have a course that I've played around on a little bit. Greens are utterly tiny, and the grass around, at least on my simulator, that it's because I believe in person. This is like how it is. The rough is super thick, so you actually, if you don't hit the greens, you actually like have to calculate power differences into the rough.
That's crazy.
It's Bethpage Black,
Yeah, I have that. Yeah, I
so
thought about playing that. I'm not gonna lie.
I played around on it, and I think just playing when I had some leisure time, I think I got around par. I think I shot around par, so I'm hopeful that maybe that would be a good course because the greens are tiny. So I think you and I have both established that you like big greens, I like tiny greens for
Yeah,
this challenge. So,
100%.
so that might be the move for the next episode. I'll have to shoot you a text and
Oh
let
yeah.
you know what I end up deciding. But that's kind of the one I'm floating around right now
hmm
for going. So
We actually this weekend had our first in-person round.
yep, yep,
Good time.
it was
Great
fun.
time. I almost killed someone.
Yeah. Oh my
I
word.
I had to. So I've been hitting like these little baby fades all day. Baby fade, baby fade, baby fade. and I was like, I'm gonna swing. Like so what happened is we paid for 18. We knew we weren't gonna get 18 done, so we were like, okay, we'll do as much as we can. So we did a 1v1, well 1v2 on the front nine, and then we did a scramble on the back nine. And we got to the back nine. We were kind of rushed, and my brother, we were playing. It was me, him, and my brother. Uh, so they both had, you guys had hit a good one into the fairway. So I was like, I'm just gonna slam one. Well, there was people right over to the left, like way down to the left. I was like, there's no way. I've been hitting a baby fade. No way I'll get close to them. Well, I hit the biggest power draw that I have hit in the longest time. I yelled for like yelling at them, and I went up there. When I drove up there, it was about 3 feet from their cart, like 3 feet. They were all standing in that little area, and they were thankful because apparently they'd had a couple people hit into them and not yell for, and because they were actually thankful that I had yelled for and hit it because it was weird. It was weird. They were appreciative that I'd hit into them just because I yelled for. It was funny.
It was
But
hysterical. So from our perspective, John's brother and me were in a fairway bunker where the next best drive was. So we went to the fairway bunker and we were kind of just waiting for John to go collect his ball. So John drives up to this group, but he drives like kind of up to the right of them looking for his ball. And the one guy goes, I think it's right here. And he's like, he's pointing at the ground like 3 feet from his cart. And he's like, I think your ball's right here, bro. And John's like, oh, okay. And he turns his gun and goes and he gets the golf ball. I was like, oh my word, he almost
I
smoked them in that cart.
I felt awful. It was terrible. I
It was scary at first when I saw the flight path. I think John just started yelling for, and I went, "Oh no!" I was just trying to comprehend that may hit those people over there on the tee box or green, whatever they were at. But
yeah.
yeah, thankfully we didn't hit anybody. I will say my driver was completely lost on the course, which I don't know why, because on the simulator it's really been working, but it was completely lost on the course just until the end. At the end, I started to figure it out a little bit, but you know how I talked, I think, in last episodes about
Mm,
the chipping that I've been doing in the apartment?
oh yeah.
It's, I feel like it's definitely been paying
Wait.
off a little bit. I was hitting some nice chips. I was chipping way
Mhm.
closer to the pin than I ever did. I think I had at least 3 chips that were within like a 10 feet circle.
Yep.
I know they always say a hula hoop, but I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah.
I'm kind of going for a 10-foot
Mhm.
circle, and I had 3 or 4 chips that ended up kind of in that circle. So I was beyond excited to see the improvement with the chipping as well as the irons are we're feeling a lot better. We got to warm up on the range, and you had shared kind of a tip that you use
Mhm.
when you're warming up to lock those irons in, and I feel like that helps me. And all in all, for the second round I played 9 holes one other time this year, but for the second round that I've played this year. I'm I'm excited to see the improvements and where we'll end up for the year.
Let's see. I wanted to see through. I shot 12 over with, and I had a chance at birdie too. The crazy thing is my wedge game. I feel like was on point. I don't know
Yeah.
what it was, but
So John's brother and I were scrambling against John, and I don't think we ever held a lead. You had a lead a few times, and we ended up tying and just calling it a push and going on to scramble for the three of us. But he was it was kind of annoying because there's so many holes where he would be like, dude, that was like roll right, this far
yeah,
from the hole, and I'd go up and look at the green, and he's like 3, 4 feet, maybe 5 to 10 feet.
yeah,
I'm like, dude, how are we just chipping from 50, 60 yards that close to the hole every time? I mean, I've played with you a bunch of times, and you're never just chipping like that. But he was throwing darts yesterday with the wedges for sure. So it was cool to see the improvements that I
yeah.
think we're making.
I think the Augusta trip lit a fire under me. I was mad at the fact that we had got kind of washed,
Yeah.
and I was like, I want to put up a good fight. I was like, I want to do the best I can, and it was fun. It was like it was annoying because like I at one point I was like I think 2 up. I
Hmm.
think at one point, and I lost that lead, but It was a good round. I was
The par threes, I think, are where we got most of our strokes back, just
Mhm.
because you
Oh
have
my
two
word, yeah.
shots onto a par three. I was hitting my irons pretty good, and so I think it was just hard for the par threes when you have to take
Mhm.
whatever iron shot you hit. And I know there was
Yeah.
one par three specifically where you hit it, kind of duffed it, and you had a pretty much another iron or a long wedge onto the green. And
Mhm.
so that just kind of makes it hard when you're playing by yourself
Yeah.
against a scramble. But it was I was a little
Yeah,
nervous.
you
We were
hit
about to get
dark.
destroyed as a
Yeah.
as a scramble by John. So
The one hole, I forget what it was, but it was I hit a 7-iron. I don't know why, but I had gotten, like, I don't know. I think I had an energy drink or something. I got a little amped up, and it was really hitting me at that point. So I hit that 7-iron, absolutely duffed it, pulled my head, was looking where it was. It rolled like 40 yards,
yeah,
and then Bren you get up there and put a dart to what? Probably like 6 feet, 8 feet.
yeah, it was
It was
probably
nasty.
around that. I hit I think it was an 8 iron, and I just teed it up just a little bit,
Hmm.
and it was one of those swings where you don't even hardly feel the ball hit the
Oh
club
yeah.
face, and you just know before you even like catch track of it in the
Hmm.
air, you're like, that's gonna be a good
It was
shot.
beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah, it was nasty.
It was dead straight right at the pin,
Yep.
and it was probably one of the best iron shots I hit yesterday. I had a few good iron shots that I hit, but all in all, really excited about the
Yeah.
season. Looking forward to play some more golf together.
Oh
And
yeah.
I really still want to get a scramble where you and I are on the
Oh
same
yeah.
team, because that would just be that would
Me
be
too.
we would be deadly for sure. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all we got going
Hmm.
from this week's episode.
Yeah. We will be back together soon. Hopefully, do something. Do some. The weather's starting to make a turn, so
Yes.
I'm excited for that.
Yep.
Very excited.
This is why I'm super pumped about doing the podcast in general, is just
Hmm.
because like weekends like this where we got together, had a fun time, it's gonna be super cool to have it
Yeah.
like documented and be able to
Hmm.
go back and listen to it and recall the fun times.
Oh
So
yeah. And hopefully we have some people that may be able to record some rounds for us. So hopefully we'll get that posted. Or maybe we just won't post it because it was that bad.
it'll be too bad to post.
Maybe the camera will get in our heads, but we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see what
But
happens. But all right, well, it was fun recording with you this week. I'm glad we were able to do it in person. Looking forward to the next episode.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All
I'm
right, boss.
excited.